What is the heart of Frieren, you ask? The shipping of Stark and Fern? Frieren and Hemo? Feet? That's not quite it, but it's a part of the equation. For this video, let's discuss the qualities of what makes Frieren's journey so compelling to watch when action is so few and far between. So obviously this video is going to have some spoilers up to episode 16, Long Lived Friends. If you haven't caught up, Frieren has tons of wisdom in it. So if you don't catch up, you're just not growing old right. So what lies at the heart of Frieren is the character-driven, introspective nature of Frieren's journey. Many characters are introduced to serve a purpose to present a perspective of someone's life. It's not necessarily giving you these stories answers, but they are giving us a lesson where it's up to our own interpretation of how we handle our own life experiences. Frieren is a socially awkward elf that is pretty introverted in nature. Her personality has to be kind of aloof because the audience needs to see her overcome certain interpersonal aspects within her as well. And of course, everyone loves a silver-haired girl in feet. Stark represents the young and dumb. He provides the outlet for the creator to display an important lesson. And what I mean by this is he always ends up in a bad situation. Bro gets poisoned, got his ass kicked, but not really. Passes out first, gets crafted, then gets easily handled by a senile old man, gets screwed by Fern, and not the way your dirty minds think. Characters need to mess up so there can be a lesson. Like when Stark and Fern got into an argument, for Fern she represents a more normal young woman version of Frieren. Then here's my favorite character, Zine. He literally has all of man's vices: smoking, drinking, gambling, and cougars. He's a very easy to identify with character because of his reasoning for finally going on a journey. I think at some point in our lives, we regret not taking the chance and opportunity in doing something, especially when we're younger. The older you get, the deeper that regret will hurt. Zine is the perfect character for an older male audience. And I'm that. I think a large portion of the fan base will look at scenes like this to be a highlight of Frieren. A lot of people look for the romance, shipping Stark and Fern. That's fine, and it is the perfect anime trope, which culminated in this very cliche dance scene. You know, a lot of this went viral during that time, which it's classic anime trope. I understand the animation quality in this scene is amazing. However, it's something that we've seen time and time again. It always culminates into this dance scene every time. It's a classic fairy tale scene as well. While I understand the viral nature of events like this and the romance that comes from a story like this, I don't think it's what connects an overall broader and especially an older audience member like myself. And personally, like I said, I'm a science guy. The guy that's an old dude that I can identify with, and he comes last because he legitimately is the perfect character that rounds out this group of social weirdos. Let's be real. A lot of Frieren's journey is because she's awkward. She doesn't really understand these little nuances in the social structure of society. She doesn't understand a lot of these things that 10 years with Hemo didn't really make her realize just yet. And of course, to her, 10 years is nothing. So what makes Frieren special? The heartbeat of this anime is philosophical in nature that provides answers to these characters' experiences, but those answers comes with its own questions because everything has strengths and weaknesses in every decision that you make. Life is complicated and there's no decision that doesn't have consequences. This is where some of Frieren's themes that gets introduced by Kraft the Monk gets wrapped up in this episode 16. I'm going to be talking about these themes and many of the events that happen in episode 16, but I won't go in too deep. The peak of the series is when Fern, Stark, and Frieren had their exciting fights. It's never just the fight scenes alone, it's the moment, the crescendo, the delivery that go along with the fighting, and all that excitement is grounded with some lessons and trying to understand the perspectives. Episode 16 is special in its own way because it doesn't have the tension of the fighting and the plot to go along with some of these grounded lessons. It's just character driven, talking about the character's experiences, thinking about the unknown and all the troubles that they've gone through. So the two biggest takeaways from this episode is the episode's ongoing theme of memories being remembered and being praised. Old Man Vol was the perfect little side quest to complete what Craft the Monk mentioned when he first showed up. Craft the Monk brought forth the importance of praise and being remembered and carrying on those memories forward. So wanting praise, being remembered, it sounds in some ways condescending and egotistical at the same time, but it's necessary in our human nature to want to get praise, to want to strive to be better, to be remembered, because the greatness that we do as a humanity, those things need to be remembered and carry us forward as a society. Telling people that they did a good job is the support, the motivation, the positive energy we need to keep us invigorated within our purposes to continue doing what we do. The idea of getting old, losing your memories, and not being remembered, those are all essential to humanity's fulfillment. The show does a good job at not necessarily giving answers, but making you think about that character's dilemma, their experiences, and how you would do things differently. Vol has this promise and connection to his long past wife. You know, he's a dwarf. Dwarves lives apparently up to like 300 years. So his wife might be over centuries old. That is his reason to continue to defend this village, because he made that promise to her. But over time, memories fade, and as you get older, you become more senile, you forget. It's been so long that he doesn't even remember what his wife looked like. But it's that promise and connection is deep rooted into himself that is not fading, but his memory of her is. Before Frieren and the party decides to move on from their stay, Vol tells Frieren he dreamed of his wife. That wraps up Craft the Monk's lesson by the episode's end when they find his and his partner's statue. Craft the Monk is an even older elf than Frieren. That means it's possible he's been through battles longer than Flame has. He's so old, the village with their statues don't even remember why they're there, but they continue taking care of it because they probably did some epic shit. That puts into perspective everything old that we can remember are from very significant stories and legends, like Jesus, Gilgamesh, and a bunch of old stories that happened like thousands of years ago. There's a reason why we don't know the backstories of Craft the Monk and the priest that he's with. It perfectly falls in line with all the lessons up to this point in the episode where Frieren explained that the people pretty much lied about Himo having the hero sword. The masses don't want a hero with flaws, so they in a way deify him and make up stuff about him to make him look like the hero's hero. I've mentioned in the prior episode that is literally the Chuck Norris effect. Craft the Monk is a legend that will likely never know the context of his history, so he just stays a legend, which brings together how important it is to find ways to be remembered for motivation, inspiration, and the good lessons we want to help influence humanity to keep advancing as a people and as a good people. To leave a long-lasting legacy and be remembered, you need people that will carry on those memories of you. For me, maybe it's this YouTube channel. For you, those are things that you'll have to contemplate yourself of your life's purposes, what you want to be remembered for, what kind of impact you want to make. On my latest episode review, I go a little bit more in depth with these themes in the show, but it's definitely one of those shows like Mushoku Tensei Season 2 where it's very character driven, a lot of slice of life, but you keep coming back to that slice of life because you want to see these characters' experiences, because that is what's most interesting. Don't shoot me, but I need a little bit of action and tension to help round out the show. That's why the Demon Anya Forger arc was so special. Epic fights along with the groundedness of their overcoming and realization within their character. Episode 15 struck that nice balance of displaying action scenes that show Zion's capabilities and his wit, He's the last character that we haven't got to see all aspects of him, so each episode provided something new about him. Those are the kind of episodes I enjoy the most, but I keep coming back to watch Frieren either way, and that's what matters most, that you continue watching it and you're holding on to something that's interesting that you enjoy to watch. Most of the younger audience loves the Stark and Fern, Frieren and Himo romance, so anything that involves their relationship makes your booty hole tingle. And I totally get that. Frieren and Mushoku Tensei Season 2 are very similar in how I enjoy them. Great slice of life with interesting introspective lessons. They have a unique way in telling their story. Frieren utilizes a lot of flashbacks and it's not about fighting anyone strong anymore, like when they defeated the Demon King. Like in the real world, when it's in the age of peace, what do you do when you don't necessarily need strong fighters anymore? You need to build upon everything of the past, those memories. Continue those precious legendary memories that makes us never forget the good and bad and all of the lessons that come from it. So that's pretty much what I liked about the first half of Frieren and what episode 16 helped to answer. Story-wise, at the end of episode 16, Sein is in his dilemma between chasing his childhood friend or advancing with Frieren and the others, but we'll see. It's a good cliffhanger because we just got this new character, he seems pretty damn cool, and now he might leave them? Once again, Sein is a great adult male figure for the show. He literally is the most normal that can give normal people advice to these three weirdos. So let me know what you guys thought about episode 16 or anything in Frieren up to this point. And I know Frieren, I personally don't care how you guys say it, but you know, I ain't a linguist. I enjoy the show. I can't wait for next week's episode. So let me know what you guys find enjoyable about the show. I would love to know. So do me a favor, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog at otakusen.com. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.